So in this video, I want to show you on unit conversion. Unit conversion involving prefix. So I want to look at unit conversion involving prefix. So there are a lot of things that you can talk about. I'll just give you slightly an overview. For example, when it comes to time, remember that the SI unit, if you remember the SI unit in this case for time, is simply the second represented by small letter s. But suppose you are given to say, convert, they told you to say convert 150 ns, to seconds, small letter s. Now, what does that represent? This represents what we are calling as being nanosecond. Remember, if they have given you 150 small n and s, this is representing the unit, and that is representing what we called as being the prefix. So you need to remember, what does that prefix there indicate? So when you're making a conversion, you start with what you have been given. So for example, I'm going to say 1 nanosecond is equal to, what does nano there mean? Nano, if you go back to your prefix, nano simply means 10 to the power negative 9. That's what it simply means. So therefore, nano means 10 to the power negative 9. And what is the unit? So you add the unit there, which is second. So 1 nanosecond is equal to 10 raised to the power negative 9 seconds. Now, of course, remember what I told you, when it is a negative here, because that's a 9, so when you write 0 point, it simply means it should have 8 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then the last one should be a digit, which is 1. So that's what it simply means in simple terms there. So you're going to say now, suppose I have, where are you going to put the 150 nanosecond? Is it on your left or your right? Where do you have nanosecond? It's on the left. So you're going to say, suppose I have 150 nanoseconds. Then how many seconds will that give me? You don't know, so you can cross multiply. So x times 1 will give you x is equal to 150 multiplied by 10 raised to the power negative 9. Now, of course, this can be can mean, or can actually be written, if you want, if you use your calculator to actually multiply that. If you use your calculator to multiply that, this can actually be written. If I just want to show you 150 multiplied by 10, in other words, exponent, that simply means exponent negative 9. It will give you a number that will be 0 point. If you notice, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so that's what it simply means. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then again 1 and a 5 there. And that is simply going to be in seconds. So it simply means you have converted. Or you could have left it in standard form. If you watch the video in standard form, that is going to be 1.5 0 times 10 raised to the power negative 7 seconds. So that is the way it is going to be. So remember, when you move this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it will be times 10 raised to the power negative 7. So basically, that is what we mean you can do on that one. So you can convert. Suppose you have been given a force. Let me now talk about the force. Imagine you have been given a force of 200 kN. Remember, this is Newton and this is kilo. That's a prefix, and that is a unit which we call Newton. So that's kilonewton, and the one should to convert to Newton. So you need to remember, kilo, 1 in this case, kilonewtons is equal to, what does that word kilo, what does it stands for? Kilo means 10 to the power 3. That's what kilo. And what's the unit? the unit is Newton. So meaning 1 kilonewton is equal to 10 raised to the power 3 newtons. And remember the meaning of 10 to the power 3, it simply means 10 times 10 times 10, which will give you a 1000. In simple terms, 1 kilonewtons, if you want, you can write it as 1000 Newton. So now you can just quickly convert that one and say, suppose I have 20 kilonewtons, then how many newtons will that give me? We don't know. Then you can cross multiply. This times that will give you x is equal to 20 multiplied by 1000. So x will be equal to, you just add those zeros, so it is going to be 20,000 newtons. So that's the way you can convert it. So 20 kilonewtons is the same as 20,000 newtons. So you can see, if you understand the prefix, then you will not have any problems whatsoever when it comes to that. Let me give you also, when you're dealing with a charge, let's say that they have actually given you a charge of about 30 microcoulombs. So microcoulombs, that's what they have given you. So coulomb, if you remember, this is a unit, capital C, that is a unit, and that is what we are calling as being a prefix. That's what we mean. So you start and simply say, 1 microcoulomb is equal to, so you go back again. What is the prefix? Micro. Micro means what? It's 10 to the power -6. And what's the unit? So this is what you're going to write there, coulombs. So 1 microcoulomb is the same as 10 raised to the power -6 coulomb. So you're now just going to say 30 microcoulombs, then how many coulombs will that give me? So you can cross multiply that. Is that okay? Of course, x times 1 is x is equal to, that is going to be 30. If you want, just say multiply by 10 raised to the power -6. That's what we mean. All right, so it's like a point is here. The moment you drop the point 1, that will also reduce by 1. So it will be 3.0 times 10 raised to the power -5, and that is going to be in coulombs. So that is what we mean. You can actually write it like that, or you can write it like I taught you in case you watched my videos on standard notation for mathematics. This is the same as writing 0.1 to, because this is 5, so after the decimal point you write just 4 zeros, 1 2 3 4. Then the fifth one is going to be a digit. In this case, our digit, since we have a 3 there, so we are going to put up a 3 there. That's what we mean there. All right, I hope you are getting sense of what I am trying to do there. I'm just trying to assist you so that you are able to see. And let's talk about another one which you are going to be finding in case you are dealing with what we are calling as being the frequency. In case you are dealing with the frequency, there are so many that you can find. For example, you can find gigahertz, a lot of things that you can actually deal with. Let's say that maybe they have actually given you 15 gigahertz. So Hz is a unit. That unit is representing hertz. You are going to learn about it. So Hz is a unit for frequency, and that capital G is simply a prefix for giga. And remember, giga means 10 to the power 9. That is what your giga there represents. So that represents 10 to the power 9. So how can you make a conversion? How can you actually carry out that conversion? It's not complicated. It is something that is very simple that you can actually work with. Again, you start there and say 1. So each time you start with 1, this unit they have given you gigahertz. So 1 gigahertz is equal to, what does giga mean? Giga means 10 to the power 9. And what's the unit? It is hertz. That's what you're going to put up. So remember, 10 to the power 9 is representing the giga there, and the unit is hertz. So 1 gigahertz is equal to 10 raised to the power 9 hertz. Then it becomes easy. So gigahertz is on your left, so put it there. If it was on the right, put it on the right. So it is going to be 15 gigahertz is equal to what? So you can cross multiply. X times 1 will give you x is equal to 15 multiply by 10 raised to the power 9. All right, so the moment you are moving your point, the point is here, but if I move it once so that it becomes 1.5, then it simply means that will drop also. It will be 10 to the power 8. Do not worry if you're not so conversant. As you practice, you are going to become familiar, with this thing. So that's the way it is in this case. So you can deal with a lot of units that you are going to be finding. So there's nothing complicated that you are going to be dealing with. Let me give you the last but not the least, voltage. Let's say that maybe they have given you voltage. They have given you a voltage of maybe 40 MV. 40 MV. That is megavolt. Remember, this is a unit, and that is representing a prefix that you do have. So that's megavolt. If you go back, mega, and that's the unit for voltage, which is the volt. So you're just going to say, if you want to convert that, you can simply say 1 megavolt is equal to, mega stands for what? Mega is simply 10 to the power 6. So 10 to the power 6, what's the unit? It is simply volt. So you are going to say, suppose I have got 40 megavolt, then what will that give me? Cross multiply that. If you cross multiply, x will be equal to 40 multiplied by 10 raised to the power 6. If you reduce it to 1, it will be 4.0 times 10 to the power 5 volts. You can also write it in a normal way. Remember, this being written in a normal way would have actually been this. It would have actually been 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So you should have 5 zeros from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that is going to be what we could have had. So that's the way you can deal with unit conversion when it involves what we are calling as being your prefix. Remember, prefix make either the unit to be very big or to be very small, depending on what type of prefix you're using. And you need to know all those prefixes that we have actually talked about. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what I make, please, you can subscribe and hit that like button so that we can continue to produce more. Watch out for some more videos as we start looking at length and time in my next, coming videos.